Hello again. The vote was granted to women, including Maoris, in New Zealand as long ago as 1893, although this move has not been an unalloyed success. It was a brave experiment, but one which has not really worked out too well over the years. You see, everything in New Zealand, and Australia for that matter, all the trappings of civilization, that is, only appeared with the arrival of white Europeans. There were no roads, bridges, machines, two-story buildings, medicine, science, or even writing before those places were colonized by the British. Today, the natives in those countries enjoy the full range of benefits of European thought. They are modern and sophisticated nations. The difficulty is, though, that for some inexplicable reason, the descendants of those settlers who brought all the benefits of civilization to that part of the world are afflicted by guilt. Why this should be, I couldn't say, but it is nevertheless the case. To alleviate this uneasiness about the actions of their distant ancestors, in a kind of southern counterpart to the collective guilt which we in Europe are urged to feel for the transatlantic slave trade, there have been moves in Australasia to encourage adulation of native traditions and customs. Harmless enough, of course, except that it has lately been working to erode the democratic process in New Zealand. There are now quite a few indigenous members of New Zealand's parliament who have been elevated to such positions by various tricksy practices, which I need not go into now. Unfortunately, though, they are unable to adhere to the same standards and conventions of the other people in Parliament. A marvellous instance of this was seen recently when a vote in Parliament went in a way of which the native members of the House disapproved. Rather than follow the rules of the chamber, they decided instead to disrupt the whole session by stamping their feet, shouting and pulling faces. No, I'm not making this up. In the description to this video, I give a link to a clip of film which shows this extraordinary episode. Stamping of feet and pulling faces are things which one might perhaps expect from recalcitrant toddlers, but hardly from the members of a legislature. It is said that in this particular case, the stamping, shouting and pulling faces is part of some old tradition of the indigenous people of New Zealand, which may or may not be true, but it hardly enhances the performance of democracy. It is one thing to pay polite lip service to the fiction that these individuals are able to participate easily in a Western-style parliamentary democracy, but in practice it's unlikely to work. If only those well-meaning radicals back in 1893 had been a little more cautious about to whom they granted suffrage, then perhaps the present awkward situation might not have arisen.